The stillness inside the time chamber was unlike anything the Rap family had ever experienced. Usually, the chamber thrummed with vibrant currents of divine energy, glowing veins of chai weaving through the air like living rivers of light. But now, the warmth had vanished, replaced by an eerie silence that pressed down on every surface. Anonimiz Cherry sat cross-legged in the center of the vast white expanse, deep in meditation. His breath was steady, controlled, yet the faint shimmer of purple and serpent green chi around him flickered subtly, betraying the tension beneath his calm. The ancient rivers of Chakratoti beneath the chamber's stones rippled as if warning of an unseen force. Suddenly, a violent surge shattered the fragile peace. The ground trembled beneath him, and a shockwave of energy jolted through his body, breaking his trance. His eyes snapped open, sharp and alert, scanning the empty chamber. Anonimiz Cherry. That energy is not mine. Far beneath the chamber's surface, hidden from mortal sight, a rift cracked open in the fabric of time itself. Black flame licked the edges of the tear, molten ash swirling like smoke in a dying fire. From this infernal cocoon emerged Ember Rap, an elemental force forged of fire and shadow. His form was a tempest of embered ash and flickering darkness, eyes glowing with ancient fury and pain. Ember Rap, I was forged in betrayal. I rise in truth's absence. As Ember Rap stepped into the chamber, the rivers of Chakratoti surged violently, their once steady flow twisting into chaotic torrents. The very walls trembled, and the sacred balance of time itself began to unravel. Anonimiz rose swiftly, his aura flaring bright with the resolve of 1,000 battles. The awakening had begun. The disturbance in the time chamber was no accident. It was a call, and the Rap family had no choice but to answer. The time chamber pulsed with an ancient breath, like a sleeping beast stirring beneath layers of divine silence. Anonimiz Cherry stood at its center, his eyes closed, his heartbeat slow, almost reluctant. The stillness was deceptive. Every molecule in the chamber vibrated with unseen pressure. The harmony lockdown had begun. Not a single word had been spoken, but every Rap tribe warrior could feel the chamber's shift. Across the palace, in training grounds and meditation zones, the energy stilled. Even those outside the chamber's threshold felt the invisible lockdown ripple through their spirit. Inside, Anonimiz inhaled. It was more than breath. It was alignment. His chest rose as he drew in the world, the pain, the progress, the pressure, the pride. And as he exhaled, the weight of every lesson from the last few months left his lungs like vapor drifting upward toward unseen eyes. He was not alone. The Rap ancestors stood in silent formation around the perimeter of the chamber. Not physical, not ghostly, essence. Papa Legba Rap's cane tapped gently against the floor, keeping time with the rhythm of the divine breath. Mama Ama Rap cradled the crystal in her hands, whispering affirmations into it that echoed in a dialect only the soul could understand. The harmony lockdown was not a punishment. It was a gift, a necessary seal to isolate inner discord before battle. The upcoming war would not be won through brute strength. It would require precision, calm, and resonance. Do not move forward until the breath is full. Do not fight until your soul is seated. The words rang out like scripture within Anonymiz's mind. They were not spoken by anyone present, but reverberated from somewhere beyond the veil, perhaps from the divine source itself. Anonimiz lowered himself to the ground, legs crossed, hands open, spine straight. The chamber's air grew dense, thick as liquid. Time slowed. His mind tried to race, but the chamber refused. Slow your thoughts, or they will outrun your form. He obeyed, slower, deeper, softer. And then came the first lock, a sudden surge of memory, triggered by breath. He was back in the wrecked car, smoke, glass. His brother's voice frantic but distant, his own body limp. Then the moment clicked when his spirit refused to leave. His willpower returned like a scream through the marrow. He wouldn't die. Not yet. Not like that. The memory passed, but its weight remained, grounding him. Oh, that frequency. Sweat rolled down his neck. The temperature in the chamber hadn't changed, but his inner landscape had. He was not breathing air now. He was breathing form, the ELI venom forms, the ultra initiative styles. Each breath was a preparation to receive them. Not to summon power, but to become it. The harmony lockdown ensured that no power would be inherited until the warrior proved ready to contain it. One by one, the locks continued. The second lock was pride. It reminded him of the first time he knocked out an opponent in training, expecting applause, but receiving only Goku Rap's quiet stare and one word, again. The third lock was shame. It brought forth the time he fled a fight, not out of fear, but out of rage. He hadn't trusted himself not to lose control. He remembered feeling broken, like the rage disqualified him from being worthy of the Rap tribe. Then came the fourth lock, the hardest. It was silence, no memories, no visions, no affirmations, just emptiness. Anonymiz's breath caught. He couldn't feel his chi. He couldn't feel the ancestors. For a moment, he thought he failed the chamber. But that was the test. The breath before battle wasn't about technique or memory. It was about presence. He sat there, eyes closed in the void, not trying to escape, not trying to fix anything, just being. And in that stillness, the fifth lock turned. His aura shifted. The green-blue shimmer of snake chi flickered around his body, but this time it didn't hiss, it danced, it didn't attack, it aligned. And in that moment, Anonimiz Cherry understood. This was not about unlocking a form, it was about becoming the form before you need it. He opened his eyes. The chamber walls glowed softly, as if nodding in approval. Papa Legba Rap tilted his head. Mama Ama Rap kissed the crystal and let it float upward, disintegrating into mist. And outside the chamber, the other warriors, those waiting, watching, felt the pressure lift. The harmony lockdown was complete, but it wasn't over. Now came the real test. Could the breath remain in battle? As Anonymous stood, the chamber opened. One by one, the warriors would be summoned. Each would face their own lockdown. Each would find their breath. Because the time was coming, sooner than anyone realized, when the evil Rap family would descend in full. And only those who breathed before the chaos would survive within it. To master the form, you must master the mirror. The voice of the great mother, Anonimiz Cherry, thought bubble. What part of me is real? And what part is just what I survived? Shadow. Anonymous, you think balance means silencing me? I am the part that kept us alive. Spectator Rap. Voiceover. Ayo, things heating up inside the chamber. We got Cherry versus Cherry in a dance that ain't about steps. It's about truth. Shadow Anonymous. I took the pain. I held the rage. You owe me. Anonymous Cherry. I honor you, but I don't owe you control. Mama Ama Rap to herself. When the soul is divided, neither half walks in power. They must dance until they remember they are one. This is not combat. This is communion. Anonymize Cherry. Let's rewrite this memory together. Spectator Rap. Voiceover. Whoa, that boy just leveled up. Look at the drip on that new soul merge. New form unlocked. Soul merge initiate. One breath, one truth. And when the dance is complete, the warrior remembers their original rhythm. Title: To be continued. In the hour where time forgets its own pulse and space folds inward like a snake devouring its own intention, Anonimiz Cherry stood, not with feet, but with fractures. Each crack in him hummed a name unspoken. Each breath he took shivered with the aftertaste of unrealized worlds. For here, beyond the chamber's echo, the Rap family met the threshold, a place never charted by any form, never dreamt of by even the most lucid of the divine insomniacs. It was called the Lockless Gate, though no one had seen a lock, nor a gate, nor even a path leading up to it. It simply existed where identity could no longer hold its breath. Anonymiz's body, half shed of venom and fully cloaked in snake cheese flickering scales, began to unravel at the molecular rhythm. He didn't move, he became movement. Not fast, not slow, but recursive. His memories looped like whirlwinds inside the river of his spine. "You are now entering the gate you prayed did not exist," whispered the grove. But it did not use words. It sang in archetypes. Each syllable became a sensation. Regret burned down his shoulder. Joy pulsed through the bones of his left foot. Unfinished love rattled inside his ribcage like coins in an offering bowl overturned too early. The gate did not open. The gate did not close. The gate witnessed. And when it witnessed, it recreated you as you really are. Not as a warrior, not as a rap, not even as Cherry. Only as verse. Not a being, not a doing, not even a knowing, just a line that refuses to end. The Rap family walked beside him, though it was unclear if they did so physically, astrally, or metaphorically. Angry Rap wept backwards, his tears crawling up into his eyes as memories he'd buried in rage asked to be fathers again. Wisdom Rap held no torch, for the darkness before them had long since evolved past the need to be seen. Love Rap sang, but not with lips. Her aura formed spirals of forgotten lullabies made of lost moments, shaping the gate's non-existent hinges into somewhat of a melody. The gate still did not open, because there was no gate. The trial was the realization. There are no locks. There are no thresholds. You are always allowed. But being allowed means becoming aware enough to allow yourself back into the you that bore you. So the venom within Anonimiz turned colorless, scentless, timeless. Not gone, elevated. He did not shout, he did not strike, he remembered. And memory became action. Not the memory of the world, but the echo memory of the self before language gauged it. A crack appeared. Not in the gate, but in the concept of division. And through that crack flowed all the forms he feared becoming. Every mask, every voice, every time he almost gave up and didn't. They lined up like shadows given mirrors and asked, "Will you walk as a reflection or as the original?" He answered without sound. He shed the layer that once needed the answer, and thus the lockless gate unmanifested, because there never was a gate, only a forgetting. When the chamber returned to its rhythm, and time dared to restart its breath, Anonimiz stood changed, not stronger, not higher, just deeper. And with that depth, chapter 6 began. The wind was wrong. Anonimiz Cherry felt it the moment he stepped through the iron-barked threshold of the midnight path, a corridor said to be carved between breaths of forgotten gods. The usual rhythm of the Rap Palace faded behind him. No cadence, no tribe, No cheering spectators, just silence, ancient, total, and watching. Every step he took echoed with reverence, not fear. The floor beneath him shifted with each movement, not as stone, but as memory, wet with sorrow, ripe with triumph. In this place, time bowed its head. He was not alone. Don't speak yet. From the shadows emerged the first entity, cloaked in molten bronze and crowned in a halo of broken suns, Rhythmus, the forgotten god of sacred pulse. His presence bent the air, every blink of his gaze realigning the tempo of the heart. You walk as if forged, not formed. But do you carry the rhythm of your people or the ghost of your pain? Anonimiz didn't answer immediately. He bowed, not in submission, but in acknowledgement. My rhythm was shattered 9 times, but I stitched it with breath, beat, and the blood of my brother. It ain't perfect, but it's mine. Rhythmu's grin was both pride and warning. With a sweep of his arm, a river of drums poured from his chest, each one representing a warrior of the past. Their beats clashed and clanged in chaotic thunder. Anonimiz had to walk through them, matching their cadence without losing his own. Each beat was a trial. He heard Mama Amarap's voice in one drum, her laugh, her scold. Another beat cracked with the sound of his car crash, the screech of metal, and the whispered breath he took after surviving. A third pulsed with the cries of war from his Air Force days, his own shouts drowned by those he couldn't save. But he kept walking, kept listening, kept adjusting, not surrendering, but harmonizing. By the time he reached the other side, Rhythmu's drums were silent. The god of sacred pulse gave a slow nod and turned to smoke. In his place, ice bloomed upward. Cold, elegant, almost kind, a woman stepped forth wrapped in mist. Elegia, the goddess of still resolve. Her eyes held no emotion, only the memory of every battle ever avoided and every tear never shed. You carry fire. But do you know when to let it flicker instead of burn? Anonimiz froze, literally. His limbs seized, his thoughts locked. Around him, memories became statues. Spectator rap, Goku rap, the rap palace, all encased in crystalline silence. The venom in his chi wanted to pulse, but it would only shatter them all. I want to scream, but I'll breathe instead. And he did. One breath, deep and deliberate, the ice melted. Elegia stepped aside, revealing a final gate marked with a crown of light and cloaked in flickering shadows. As he walked through, a mirror formed from the ground and climbed upward, reflecting not just his body, but every form he had ever taken, every failure, every triumph. Out stepped a being who bore his face, but whose aura was ancient and wrapped in galaxies. You came all this way to find gods, but gods don't give power. They test if you're ready to remember what was already yours. Anonimiz closed his eyes, then he opened them. And for the first time he saw the P not as distant entities, but as pieces of himself, forms he hadn't claimed yet, truths he had only whispered in sleep. The shadows of the gods faded, but in their place, Anonimiz Cherry walked forward, more full, more precise, and more dangerous. The midnight path had judged him, and in its quiet, divine way, it welcomed him.